just because it's 1st of January, it doesn't mean it's been wiped off. It means that it's a new chance for you to work on them or not.
Hello and welcome to the Magneticah podcast. This is a podcast by two 20-something friends, Kim and Phyll. We catch whatever life throws at us and try to make sense of it by sharing our thoughts and opinions. Magneticah will be full of great moments, so many oops, ifs, laughters, and tears of maneuvering life as young African women. If you want to have a great time and share in our experiment, tag along. Let's journey on together.
All right. Hi guys, my name is Miss Phyll. Welcome to the Magneticah podcast. Happy 2023. How is your year so far? How is your January taking you? What are you excited about? What are you looking for this year? And of course, I am not alone. I'm here with the beautiful and brilliant co-host, Kim. How you feeling? How you doing?
Hey everyone, Happy New Year. I'm feeling great. Nothing much has changed, and yet, everything's different. So, what am I most excited about is just continuing with some of the projects that I started late last year, finishing school early this year, get my time back. I've been spending so much time studying. So I'm glad that that is slowly coming to an end, and of course, just taking things to the next level. So I'm excited about the business that I'm running and seeing how it unfolds in the year. I have a few plans for it. So that's what I'm most excited about. What are you most excited about, Phil?
Well, first of all, congratulations in advance for school. You've been very, very consistent. It's admirable. And on your new business, I wish you nothing but the best. I'm here for the journey. Let's hope that by the time the year ends, we will get to interview you and you can give us a tip or two about business. What am I excited about? I don't know. Funny enough, um, when this year was starting, and for me, it was like any other year. Like it was slightly different because on 31st, I usually have a tradition that we do. I didn't get to do it. And now when January came, I just feel like it just feels sort of like it's a continuation. And we will get to that. It's going to be the topic of discussion. So I don't want to preempt it before we get to that. But I wanted to ask you, we can reflect back on 2022. How would you describe the year that has just passed for yourself in a few words, in a few sentences?
Eventful and fast. Because when I think about January 2022, there was a lot going on. I had changed jobs, so there was that. I started learning, so there was that. And then in the middle of the year, I changed jobs again. So there was that. And then I started a new project towards the end of the year. If I didn't sit to really think through the year, I would have thought that it just went by, nothing happened, but a lot happened in such a short period of time. So I would describe it as eventful. I can't believe that so much can happen in one person's life in just a short period of time, and so many changes in just 1 year. So yeah, that would be my word, eventful. What's yours?
Wow. Yeah, it was quite an eventful year. I was just thinking about it when you were talking, and the word that came up to me is that it was intense and fun. When I look back at 2022, I had the most fun in my life, in my work. Of course, I made some big decisions also last year, and those decisions I had to really, really think about them. And sometimes I'm just, like, I don't know what is gonna happen, but let me just take the step. Also, it was a very intense year at a personal level. So many things happened. And for me, that year, it just began being intense right from the second month, as I remember. Because I also moved places. I mean, some relationships had to end, some new relationships were formed. I also sort of like left my previous job, and it was so much that happened. I think probably as we go on with the podcast during the year, we'll be talking about some of these things. But I can say that I also had the most fun. If I compare 2022 to my year 2021, I definitely had so much fun in 2022. I got to travel, I made new friends, I tried out new things. So for me, it was intense and it was also fun. And I think the reason why it was also fun is because I sat down and I said that no matter what this year blows at me or brings at me, I'll make sure that I dance. I'll make sure that I have fun. If you want to see that I really, really had fun and got what is it called? Got out of my own comfort zone. Just go and check my TikTok page. I look at that page and I'm like, I didn't even know that I had that side. So for me, it was intense and it was fun. And I also made sure that I took videos, as many photos as I could. It's such a memorable year. And while it was ending, it was quite very, very, very intense, extremely intense. But to be honest, I'm grateful that we're in 2023, and this year, honestly, I just want to relax. You know how you come from an intense relationship, an intense life, and you're just like, okay, I want to relax this year. So I'm really hoping that 2023 will not be as intense as 2022, probably more fun, but we're here. I think part of what I learned from 2022 is sometimes just let the year surprise you. Because some of the things that you thought you'd do or you had plans and then they didn't go that way, but better things happened, you know. So I'm sort of also taking the same attitude to 2023, that I'm also going to allow room for surprises and for random things to happen. And I think that's what I'm hoping for in 2023. So,
I like those two words, intense and fun. I almost want
mhm.
to borrow them because I totally agree. But I think for me, I'd also add calm. I think in 2022, I was the calmest I have been in a while, like the most relaxed. Wasn't worrying all the time. I moved with the flow a bit more. Uh, so yeah, I think I was the most calm, and I think I'll bring that over to 2023. I don't even think I need to bring it over. It's just spilling over on its own. So I'm glad that it was calm. And so, yeah, that gave me the opportunity to think about other things or to just do random things like starting a new thing towards the end of the year. That was not quite the plan, actually.
It's actually very exciting that towards the end of the year, we both started a new thing. So I'm just gonna selfishly plug my new YouTube channel. It's called YOLO with Miss Phyll. And it's also something I started in December, actually. I wanted to say, like, I was thinking which month, but it was literally in December. And um, yeah, that's one of the things that I think everybody should carry, allowing room for surprises, as I said earlier, because it wasn't something that in January I thought about when the year was starting. So, like now, probably there's so many of us who feel stuck and have plans for 2023. It's okay. It could, new things could happen in December and it's still fine. And those are new lessons to learn in life. Everything, personal life, work, and etc. How it started versus how it ended, totally different. I think even when it was ending, I had gained some weight. So, yay. And I'm also going to borrow calmness, your calmness into this year. And I think that's why I use the word relaxed, because I tend to be an overthinker and to worry quite a bit. So yeah, let's take a chill pill, especially in the beginning of the year, to just let things unfold. Yeah, so let's jump into the topic of conversation. So today we wanted to talk about things that excited us when we were young, and now they no longer excite us in our 20s. Well, it's not that they don't, but they don't excite us as much. And 2022 was indeed very eventful, even across the world. We had the World Cup. And I'm going to start right off there, and we talk about a little bit about the World Cup, because I don't remember what happened during that time. Kim, where were you at when the World Cup was happening?
I was at home minding my own cassava business and studying. So the thing with school is that you have exams, and because the masters I'm doing is a year long, it's very fast paced. So 1 minute you're studying, the next minute you have an exam. So I actually remember in the middle of the World Cup, I had an exam. So it's the last thing on my mind. Watching a game is the last thing on my mind. I just want to get the exam over and done with and make sure I have a passing grade so that I am not failed, in that particular unit. The thing that I remember that was happening in the World Cup that I associate World Cup with is constant blackouts. So in Kino West, it's been a while since we've had blackouts at the rate at which we are having blackouts now. So there were too many blackouts. And the reason I remember this is because the master's I'm doing is online and I needed to do an exam, and there's a window with which you can do an exam. So I remember my sister watching a game because I had to go to my sister's place to do the exam just to make sure that these blackouts don't hinder me from studying and doing the exam, and also hinder me from working, because the job that I have right now, I can also do it online. Actually, do it online, and the team is remote and scattered all over the world. Okay, not all over the world, within some specific time zones. So I only remember that the inconvenience of not having electricity constantly and having to do my exam. But I do know that I watched a bit of the finals, like part of the second half and the extra time. So I watched that. But with previous World Cups, I think I've watched the quarterfinal matches, semifinals, and the finals. But this time, it was not occupying too much of my headspace. So, yeah. So I wasn't too thrilled about it.
Well, at least you did watch. And I know this is going to rub some people the wrong way, but I didn't even watch a single match, like zero. I was looking forward to watching the final match, honestly, but I remembered like the previous day, I had just come from a very intense shoot, which lasted the whole night. So for me, the next day, I was just so exhausted. And I was so disappointed because when I was a child, like young, I'm still young, I loved World Cup. My uncle, one of my uncles, introduced me to football. And even other than World Cup, would watch all these other matches. We'd watch even Kina Harambe Stars. And I was like a football fanatic when I was young, all the way, I think, to my high school. Part of campus, yes, not so much, because, like when you go to watch games, it's usually so many guys and it's all sweaty. So I'd prefer not to watch most of the time, but I would be keen to follow up on Twitter, news. What did Manchester score? I used to be a Manchester girl. I even have a jersey, yo. So for me, World Cup just passed like that. It just passed without even me knowing. I think by the time it was ending, I was like, it went so fast. It went by so fast. The only thing that I watched during World Cup was the performance, the opening, and that was it. And I think I even went to catch up on it later because I know like the opening is usually very exciting, the performances and so many things. And I wanted to see how Qatar, I was curious to see how Qatar represents their culture. I just remember I skimmed through on YouTube, but I didn't have the opportunity, number one, because of work and projects and everything. But also I think the excitement kind of just died down because I think there are people who their schedules are busier than mine and they still had time to watch. So I don't know. I'd like to know your thoughts, especially from guys, because I know most ladies they don't like soccer as much. I won't generalize because I know there are people who ladies who are fans of football and everything. But I just like to know if you find World Cup exciting or has it uh, become less exciting with time? Also, I don't know, it's because we just need a new fresh blood of players and the ones who've been there. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a lot to talk about. So, shut us up and give us your comments. What do you think about World Cup? What was exciting for you? I remember there was a feud when I mean, Morocco, they were like, no, we don't come from Africa. We don't want to be associated with it. I remember seeing that whole conversation on Twitter and everything. And yeah, it was bad. I mean, your country is in Africa. You're
That was
African.
interesting, but I didn't follow up on it
Yeah.
too much. But I thought, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, let's be proud of our continent, yo. It's amazing. It's amazing. Doesn't matter what has been painted out there. That's why people like us, we're working so hard to tell new stories about our continent. But I felt bad that they said that. Yeah. Okay, so another exciting event which happened is elections in Kenya. And we saw that so many young people didn't take part in elections. And Kim and I, we both voted, obviously, for reasons that we had. But given that so many young people didn't take part in elections, what are your thoughts on that? Is it that elections have become less exciting? Have we lost hope in the leadership? Do we just think that we're recycling the same people, different positions? Kim, why do you think there was voter apathy?
All of the above. You mentioned it all. Um, yeah, maybe it's become less exciting, to constantly hear about politics and then going to vote for the same old people. But I think from my end, I come from a family that's constantly talking about politics. So in my world, it was exciting. The excitement didn't die down, especially because one of the parties was, had a different angle this time than what we're used to in terms of their campaigns. And, that was kind of exciting. So that didn't die down because I'm surrounded by people who talk about politics all the time. But I wonder how they're feeling now. I know a family member who's, starting to really get bored with politics because nothing much has changed. And like I said, we're having blackouts all the time now. So it's like, okay, so what exactly happened? But during that time, I think the excitement was everywhere around me because the people that are around me are interested in politics. And the people that I talk to, even those that are not family members, are also interested in politics. And some of them are in political circles. So that didn't change. But when it comes to maybe some of my friends, maybe the youth that we go to church with, some of them said exactly what you just said. Same old people, anyways. why should I vote? They're going to steal the vote anyway. My person won't win anyway. So I don't think they voted. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. You can't force anyone to do something. And they have their own reasons. But I really wonder what will happen in 2027 and in between. But it's very surprising. Or not, actually, it's not surprising that already we have talks about 2027, who's going to win, who's going to go against this person. And I'm thinking, we just voted. Like just give us a mental break. I don't know, that might either trigger people to go and vote and be like, you know what, I'm done voting you in, or get them to be more pathetic. I don't know. I'm just waiting to see how things play out. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it has become less exciting because the leaders that get elected hardly achieve their manifestos, hardly do anything, bad roads everywhere, and all that. I don't want to get angry, but yeah, blackouts. I mean, new leadership, and then we get blackouts. It's not interesting. It's not interesting.
Like
The
every
best you can
day.
do is, yeah,
Every
like so
single day.
unpredictable, you know? And it's not just in Kiambu County, it's everywhere. I've
Yeah,
had
it's
people from
everywhere.
Kajiado complain. I've had people from Nairobi complain. I mean, even town. Even town.
So I was
City.
I was actually thinking about that blackout thing, and we hear in Kenya, amongst the youth, the youth employment is a big issue, and so we're being told, we're going to give you digital jobs, we're going to give you jobs, in government offices, etc. But I'm thinking, if there are no lights ever, how am I going to take full advantage of the remote opportunities that actually exist, like real actual jobs? Because I know some people, when they hear about remote opportunities, they think it's just academic writing, which is also, I mean, it's an avenue that people earn money from. So I think it's a great thing. But the actual jobs that people are doing online that are, amazing. So how are we going to do that if blackouts are constant? Like, self-learning, it's just amazing. And then someone comes and tells me digital opportunities. I'm like, okay, where are the lights?
Yeah, we gotta have a means to do the jobs. So also want us to talk about something that we enjoyed probably when we were young. I don't know, Kim, are you more of a texting person or a calling person? Which one do you prefer, texting or calling?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So I prefer calling. A simple phone call will do. If it's texting, I want things to get to the point. Unless I'm texting with a very, very good friend that I'm used to, then we'll have long conversations. Otherwise, if it's just hi, I don't want to keep going on and on and on discussing small talk. You know what would be small talk in real life? Doing small talk on text. I no longer cannot do that. Actually, speaking of texting and calling, I recently had a conversation with this guy that I met who seems amazing. I don't know him properly yet, but he seems amazing. So he sent me a text, and then he was just trying to, chat me up, strike a conversation. And then at some point, I just blacked out. And then he called me about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, and he asked me, you don't text or what? And I told him, I literally had nothing to say. And that was true. I had nothing to say. And also, I think to myself, I think after we said hi to each other and we caught up, I think the conversation has really just come to an end, and it's fine to end it. I don't keep dragging it. But I prefer phone calls. And if we're going to text, I want to feel like there's a sense of direction. No more texting at night until midnight. I cannot do that. Or rather, I just, no, I'm not, I don't know. I'm growing old. That's what is happening. Not exciting anymore. You?
I'm laughing because I also no longer enjoy texting, and especially like the long texts that go like into the night, as you say. That's why I was laughing. I was like, oh, I'm not weird. I'm not weird. Yeah. I think when I was a teenager, I enjoyed texting a lot. I think I did. And now I'm asking myself, what is this thing that I was telling people? What is this things you were talking with my friends that right now it's not there anymore? So I kind of get what you're saying. Texting is something probably we enjoyed when we were younger. We had more time. I don't know if it's even about time. And to answer my own question, texting or phone call? Honestly, I prefer neither. I prefer neither at all. Um, I don't know why. I'm the kind
Phone
of
calls are
person.
scary.
Yeah, phone calls are scary
They're scary.
because it also depends with who's calling you. And I'm actually trying to see the people I have frequent phone calls with. I have a friend. For her, she doesn't prefer texting at all. She prefers phone calls. So, and she doesn't call you every other day. So when she calls, I know, okay, this is going to be one long conversation. Let's talk about it. Unless she just wants to know how you're doing and everything. But she's made it clear that she prefers phone calls to texting. But the good thing is she won't like call you every other day. I think for me, I really value also my space. So it might come off rude, especially to people who are just getting to know me, that I don't respond to text or I don't respond to phone calls. And I think I prefer conversation on WhatsApp. I prefer conversation on WhatsApp because I know that the day will not end if I've not checked my WhatsApp and to see who texted me, who did what. And I think the best way I communicate with my friends, it would be very weird, but it's through memes or reels, those short videos. If I say something interesting, I'll share it with Kim. If I say something that maybe we had a conversation with someone else, I'll share it with them. But that actual conversation of, hey, how are you? Da 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 da. No, it's so tiresome. It's just so tiresome right now. I do not know why. I do not know why. But for me, I prefer minimum communication. I do not know why. And phone calls are nice, but not like every other day. And yeah, it's something that used to excite me back then. It no longer excites me right now. I appreciate when someone checks up on me. I do. I also check up on my friends and etc. But I think when you're getting to know someone new, sort of there's sometimes where you feel the conversation is forced, like you mentioned, and you just want to be like, it's okay. Like today we've talked about this. It's fine. If we get to talk about something else on Sunday, it's cool. You don't have to talk every other day. That's okay with me. And I think it's just so surprising that when I was a teenager, I would talk a lot, and now it's like the vocabulary is out. Probably it could be the career I do. I do not know. I get to speak a lot on camera, so maybe that's why. I do not know. But I know that so many people used to find texting exciting, and now it's no longer as exciting as it used to be. Yeah, the next
Yeah.
thing is Christmas. Christmas, we just celebrated Christmas the other day. Christmas for me is becoming less and less exciting, and it's becoming just a normal day. Actually, I remember I went home during Christmas, like on that particular day, and I was just looking forward to spend time with my family, but it wasn't like a big deal. When I was young, it was a big deal. You'd get new clothes, you eat chapos. I mean, right now you can eat chapos anytime that you want. You find chapos in supermarket, you find chapos on the streets, restaurants, anywhere. I don't know if there were chapos when I was young. I don't remember that quite well. But Christmas used to be a big deal. We'd go to Shago every Christmas. Right now, not every Christmas. Like it's become less exciting. And you even hear adults saying, Christmas quizzing ya watoto. I don't know, Kim, how is Christmas for you? Is it as exciting as it used to be? Do you think it's because we are growing old, that's why things no longer become exciting, or our lives are just boring?
I think maybe the things that used to excite me during Christmas don't excite me anymore, but maybe the excitement has shifted to something else. So I don't think new clothes when I think of Christmas, because of course, as a grown up, does that really matter anymore? And if you want new clothes, you save up and buy yourself new jeans, right? It's not a big deal. It's no longer, you don't wait for an occasion to buy yourself new clothes if you need them. But like you said, for me, it's just become a time when you just chill and spend time with family and also I think, reflect. That's the word. So it's stopped being about food, unless of course, we're trying new foods, not the usual, then that becomes exciting. I still value the rituals that we do during Christmas. So if it's spending time with family, I don't think I would keep that up. But things like clothes, 100%, just rook a mocha or spend Christmas in your old jeans and old dresses and old clothes, nothing bad will happen. I saw a post on YouTube yesterday, uh, Golden Globes Awards, what everyone is in the US talking about it. So that showed up on my feed. And they were talking about the dresses that celebrities were wearing. And one of the comments that I got to see was that it's no longer exciting to see their dresses. Like you don't feel, oh wow, that's an amazing dress anymore, like you used to, because we see nice dresses all the time on Instagram. So just like you're saying, chapos are everywhere. So chapo doesn't excite you anymore during Christmas like it used to, but I don't think it's an entirely bad thing. Maybe this means that we need to shift our focus to something else during Christmas. You know how pastors always say, or people that preach during Christmas, at least because I'm a Christian and I can only speak based on my experience. You know how pastors during Christmas always say that, we forget the true meaning of Christmas. Maybe when we are less excited about the material things like food and clothes and all that, then we can start to really look for other things to get excited about. And if they're not going to be material, then probably they're going to be about relationships, about gratitude, about other things that are not food and clothes like it used to be. Of course, that's not going to be true for everyone, because imagine someone in the rural village has not seen chapo the whole year and enjoy to Christmas. Yes, that's the time. But for people who have lived with chapos, uko kila mahali hata sasa ninunue 20 bob. I have a chapati. You have to find new meaning during Christmas, or else you will just work 365 days of the year, and it will be nothing. And I don't think that's the best alternative. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep. Let's find new meaning in Christmas. Okay, so New Year's. New Year's is usually a big deal. Everybody's like, New Year, new things, resolutions, new plans, new everything. There's all that. And if you go to social media, we're in the month of January. So there's still people posting and saying, this is my year, this is what it's gonna be, da 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 da. Honestly, and especially like this year that we're talking about it, I don't remember much about last year. But now that we're talking and having this conversation, as I said earlier, it's just like, yeah, December 31st, January, to may slide into the new year. And for me, the excitement is like zero. And I'd say this because previously, New Year was more exciting for me than Christmas. And because of the whole fireworks and all that, and new plans, and you're going to be like, I'll go to the gym. Okay, let me stop lying. I've never gone to the gym. But those are some of the plans that people say. I'll go to the gym. I will eat healthier. I'll do all these things. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to be a better mom. I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to be a better sister. I'm going to travel. All those new goals are usually set in January. And then there's just that excitement of a new year. And for me, I thought, how well do we lie to ourselves? Because we were having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were like, and she was asking me, what are you excited about this year? And I was like, I'm just going with the flow. Like, I'll do things as they come. And some things that I started, I'll continue this year to do them even more. And she was like, how is it that we think when it's a new year, it's like all the problems that you had? Let's say you were struggling with weight. Let's say you were struggling with your finances. Let's say you're struggling with so many things. How do we think that just because it's a new year, it's 1st of January, that all those problems get wiped out? It's not true. Those things get to still stay with you. And unless you do something about it, you're just going to find
Why are
yourself in
you
the same
so brutal?
I'm sorry, but it's
What?
how we just we talked about it, and you were just like, why do we lie to ourselves? Like when let's talk about when we were in primary or high school. You're in Form 1 and then you go to Form 2, and suddenly you just think just because you're in Form 2, miracles are gonna happen. Where? Just because it's 1st of January. No, I'm just saying that that's the mindset that you probably had. And now you realize that, well, I still have the same problems. I'm still doing all these things. And just because it's 1st of January, it doesn't mean it's been wiped off. It means that it's a new chance for you to work on them or not. Not to write your goals on social media. Sorry to say, I have nothing against that. But I'm just saying it takes more than just celebrating New Year and thinking that the fireworks will wipe your problem.
Wow.
I'm sorry I'm brutal. But I think that was like a slap on my face that just because it's January, it doesn't mean that. Yeah. And also, I think the fact that when you are in school, there's actually something new. Like you go to a new class, you have a new lecturer or new things that you're going to do. But in adulting, unless you do something new for yourself, you will be in that old job, you will be in that old estate that you live in. Like I don't know. That's why it's less exciting. Like you just have to make it new for yourself. Figure out what new thing you want to do. And I also think it's too much pressure for someone. Also, if things have been well, why do you need to make them new? If you enjoy where you're at, thinking about it. I don't know.
Wow. I like those thoughts. I really do. So basically you have to apply more effort to
And be
feel
intentional.
the newness in the year. Because if you're going back to the same job, you have the same friends, you have the same habits, you have to be super, super intentional to change something if your goal is to feel the newness in the year. But otherwise, you can literally change your mind about a habit today and drop it now and start working towards a new habit today, now. You don't have to wait for a new year. But I think just so should every day feel like a new, oh, today's a new day. We have new
Exactly.
possibilities today. So let me make most of today. So if today I make this decision, it's effective today, right this moment. I don't have to wait until the new year. Actually, for me, if I see someone saying that they're letting go of toxic people in the new year, I'm like, no. If I'm one of those toxic people, I am going
Cutting
to
you
be in
off.
your life in the coming year, because if you wanted to cut people off who are toxic, you would have done it today, now. If you were that tired of toxic people, you would have done it. You would have
Yeah,
started
it's anytime.
figuring out, yeah, you would have started figuring out how to get rid of these toxic people the moment you got really tired of them. If you're waiting for New Year, no. If I'm one of those people, I am going to be in your New Year if I am one of those people. So when I see such posts, I'm thinking, don't worry, New Year's January 1st. After the kesha, when you wake up, I'll be there.
I'm cutting you
Because that's
off.
not how it works. Yeah, I mean, think about the things you've changed in your life. Sometimes you even change them in random periods. But what I appreciate about the new year is that at least because it's a holiday season, you get to chill. So you're not running around. But of course, there's some jobs where you're still running around. You're not running around as much. So you're having time to think. And maybe that's the time when you say, you know what? Maybe I need to get out of this environment by the end of Jan or by the second week of Jan. You might actually be able to make changes in the new year because you had time to think. You were not running around. You were not stressing about, what your boss is doing or not doing because you had a break. So I think that's the advantage of the new year. And yes, I think you can still come up with goals, but I think how it works is you make a decision effective immediately. You have today. You can't wait for the new year. But I also agree if you don't want to change anything, like I don't want to change the calmness. I just want to increase peace of mind in my life. If I don't want that to change, then I'm not changing anything. Um, yeah, let's stop there.
Okay, thank you so much, Kim, for that. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Of course, we have so many things that we'd like to talk about. Things that used to excite us and no longer are as exciting. If you have anything that you want to share with us, make sure you leave it there on the comment section. We are on Instagram, Magneticah Podcast. We're on Spotify, Anchor, and all those podcasting platforms at Magneticah Podcast. And we're also on YouTube at Magneticah Podcast. So make sure you follow us up. We have very, very amazing episodes that we did last year. Some of them are fun, educative. You will laugh, you will cry, you will think to yourself. We're just out here sharing our experience as 20 somethings from Kenya. Bye bye, guys. I wish you a fantastic year ahead. Whatever you do with it is up to you.
I like that. Whatever you do with it is up to you. Bye, guys.
Bye.